I try. Obviously, I'm not doing good enough. This is what happens when you're in prison too long.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to do life anymore outside of prison. I only know how to do it inside the prison.
Well, Elliot, while you were in prison, did they serve you the coffee with the cheese in it?
Why, yes. Yes, they did.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well, sometimes.
That wasn't cheese.
All right.
Oh, no.
What was it?
What was the cheese?
Prison cheese.
Prison cheese.
Yeah, what's that?
What do you mean? What's that?
What's prison cheese?
No, I'm just making that up. It's nothing at all.
I don't know.
All right. Welcome to the Jerkmonger
something.
Show. I am your host, the Jerkmonger, coming at you live from Tampa, Florida. That's right. I am here. I had to restart the thing. Sorry, guys. I'm back again. Yeah, 25 people watching right now. If you guys don't mind, please like and share this video.
Yeah.
Word.
Share it. People, what's wrong with you?
Word. So I'm going to go back. I rudely interrupted myself earlier. I was looking through all the different campaigns. Cridious, are we still going? Where's Cridious? He's not here yet?
No,
he's not back yet.
He's such a fool. He's such a fuel.
He got lost.
He got lost. I don't blame him. He's such a fuel. Well, in the month of May. All right, I don't know how to do this anymore. I'm gonna go Indiegogo again. Dang it. Duplicate. Here we go. Duplicate.
Boomer.
No, I'm trying to do something without losing. I want to keep all of them live. What's it called again? It was Detective Dead.
Yeah, it's still open. It's still in demand.
Okay, I'm going to get there right now so I can put the link in the information. Is very good for the children. I'll have to do that in a little bit. All right. So what's up, fellas?
Oh, another day. Except today's different because we're streaming on your channel.
We are streaming on my channel. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited. We already sang that song. I'm not gonna do that anymore. All right. Things that I've learned.
All right.
Things that I've learned. Whatever you do, don't put other people's stuff on your channel.
Oh, wow.
Now, to be perfectly honest, I haven't learned that because I don't know what I did wrong. But don't do it. Whatever we do, don't do it. But if you are going to do it, make sure that you have you're well within your rights under fair use, because apparently I was not. I don't know. Mortal says you're bald now. Yes, I've been bald for a bit. It's also very shiny on screen, isn't it?
Prison's made him a hardened man.
When you're in the situation I've been in, things get tough. Whatever. All right. So if you guys don't mind, I wouldn't mind making you guys moderators on my thing if you're not already. I don't remember. It's been a long time.
I'm already a mod.
All right, who's not a mod? Brian, are you a mod on my channel?
Let me check. Am I? Yeah, I am.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he only gives that to the racists.
Yeah. Well, that means you too. Now, here you go. Where you at?
Yeah, of course.
Where you at? Are you in there already? Have I made you a mod yet? Yep. Type something. So type something for crying out loud.
I already knew I was.
Oh, okay. We're good then. Oh. All right. Beep boop. There you go. All right. Cool. So far, everyone here is good to go. Yeah. So, like I said, I wish I had some fireworks or something for you guys, but it was more like a jailbreak party where there was a cake and there was a file in it, and I had to break out.
Did you get that cake like they had in Back to the Future when Uncle Joey didn't get out of prison? And they just throw it down on the table and just
trust me,
cake with it.
Trust me, I had fully intended to buy a cake like that, and I realized I had no money. But so guess what, kids? Super chat's active. Let's do it. That's it. I'm not even listening. I learned a few things while I've been in prison, and I've learned to be bold and proactive. I don't care no more. No, sir, I don't care no more.
Me too. I don't care about anything anymore.
I'll tell you what I do care about, though. I care about my chat. I care about my people. I care about my tribe. I really appreciate you guys, all the support. And now we can do paranormals on my channel, too.
That's true. We can.
Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good.
It's exclusive to Brian's channel now. That is the deal.
Well, we could keep it on your channel if you like. I'll do something else. But so we keep getting you the the volume of people. Let's see. Mortal Bliss says you could have some fireworks once you've digested 2 cans of Boston baked beans. Let me tell you something. I'm not sure of the cans, but I like the candy. Do you guys like the candy, Boston baked beans?
They have Boston baked bean candy?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I've had them.
They're candy coated peanuts.
I'm telling you, it does not sound like a fan.
Oh, it's
they
like,
right.
Oh, yes. Come on.
That's a fact, man. They just all right.
Oh, Hikaru for $2 says, take my money. Thank you so much, Hikaru. I appreciate that. I'm back in the saddle again. Look at that. Everybody's here. Death Dealer Zero's in here. Rodwell Stevens is in here. Gaming on or what? TM. Felix Haas says, hi, Elliot. Cameron Thomas says, dang, 2 streams in one night. That's right, baby. That's what happens when well, you know how it is when people come out of prison. They gotta experience things again. Or not. You guys got quiet.
Again, for the first time. That's right. Oh, look, you got more super chats. You can buy that cake now.
Force One. Oh, my man says, here you go, Ellie. Let's get this super chats going. Hugh Jazz. Do sexy party here. I am the sexy party. What are you talking about? Look at this head. Look at this dome.
No. Sexy party is on my channel, Hugh Jazz. That is so.
Andrew says, I'm still getting used to Lex Luthor, Elliot. Lex Luthor.
Mr.
Luthor.
Cameron Thomas says, Elliot, can't stop, won't stop. Watch you guys while watching Linkin Park. Oh, that's clever.
Well, that's
Rawa says, cool in the gang, fresh, 1985. Oh, yeah. Slacker High, 2 streams. That's right. Gotta get paid. Hey, I tell you what, I did record a video and I was going to post it. And I thought, is this kind of getting crazy though? Peter Cimetti. Oh, Peter Cimetti.
Yo, love Peter.
I love Peter. Oh, snap. Now everybody sounds good. Sketches like everybody said they don't have these beans in Puerto Rico. This is Goya Island. That's true. Let's see. Vilnet, not yet. Nasser still going, man. Okay, so here we are. All right, I'm going to draw stuff. Can I draw stuff? Or you guys want to draw stuff?
Please draw some stuff.
But this time,
don't draw anything.
You should draw. But whatever. Don't get me a strike, guys. I tell you what I will do in celebration. I have my wife's Cozumel shot glass. I've got my. Maybe I shouldn't show what it is. Copyright strike?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's Smirnoff.
Oh no, you're not getting a strike for that.
No, it's vanilla vodka infused with natural.
Okay, flavor. Strike.
It's vanilla. What are you talking about? Strike. Vanilla. Why? Because I said vanilla. Hold on,
man. Just pour your Bartles and James from 1988. And
this is what are you talking about? This is straight up.
Oh, nothing. Oh, straight up vodka with vanilla in it.
That sounds a little suspect.
Look, it's made with number 21.
Well, can't argue with that.
All right. Would you be mad if I said it was 35% vodka? I mean, alcohol.
That's almost whiskey,
right? It's not bad.
Okay.
I don't have any whiskey.
Take a shot.
I want to take my shot. This is my celebration. I don't have much left. I drank a lot of this during the beginning of our campaigns. Remember?
Yeah. I do.
This thing was full.
Yeah. Wow. That was a stressful time.
All right. I'm going to salute to all you guys. Thank you all for hanging with me. I appreciate you all. You guys are my friends, my peoples.
Whoop, whoop.
This is a tall shot.
Small shot.
Here we go.
Is that a double shot? No.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I might need another one of those. Matt V says, Jerkmonger, I need a Hellboy commission. How much is 3 months of super chats? Oh, hey-o. Don't do that, please. He wants to get me in trouble again. My mouse won't work. I have to plug it in. Let's see. Elliot, you're alive. I am alive. I'm back, baby. I'm back. Dynamo says, Elliot looks just like someone famous bald, but I can't quite come up with the name. I don't know either.
Shane O'Connor.
Ghost of Henry called it not so masculine vodka. He used other terms. Hey, listen, man, it's got flavor in it. It doesn't mean it's not vodka. Russians would be happy with it too. It's different. Sean Thomas says, I'm drinking coffee right now, but I have no cheese. Well, you may want to investigate that because it's good stuff. D Fresh says Jerkmonger on the right screen, Destiny 2 on the left. Oh yeah. I don't know. I think I don't know. Do I compare to Destiny 2? I don't know. Anyway, my face is ugly. Why are you laughing?
And good night, everybody.
This is one shot of vodka. This is one shot.
I love you guys. You guys are the best.
Yes, great. You guys are great. This is like other people's streams. I'm only pretending to be drunk. All right, I'm going to share my screen here. See, that's the other things. I don't know how to use this thing anymore. Cridious, you're back.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Hello, Mr. Malpica. How are you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh wait, Cridious is here. That's my cue to go.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, he's just here. Eric Yuga says, "Am I seeing things? Is Jerkmonger out of YouTube jail?" Yes, yes. And I have 95 people watching right now. That's how these people love me. People love me. People love me.
That's great.
Let's see. Cameron Thomas says, "I've got your red Batman and your Black Panther. I need a blue Superman and Elliot." Oh, hit me up, hit me up. Hey, by the way, I've been building up new advertisement things on for my videos. I'm excited. So I got to start doing some things. Judson Co. for 99 cents doesn't even say a thing. I just sang that.
He's just speechless.
We heard that.
Huh?
He's speechless of your hair.
He doesn't see my hair anymore. I'm going to draw some stuff. I'm going to entertain you all. So what am I drawing tonight, fellas?
Dawn Craven. You've been promising forever.
Dawn Craven?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So basically a redheaded woman?
Very sexy redheaded woman. Thank you very much.
True. Eric Weathers is in the chat. Eric, you can come on in anytime, brother. I put it into the green room unless you don't have it.
I can't hear Antonio. Antonio, is he speaking?
No, I'm not speaking. Oh.
Comic Book Bot says, "Guess who's back? Back again. Monger's back. Tell a friend." Oh, guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? I'm gonna draw myself in jail, breaking out.
Guess who's back?
Sean Tillman says in Jerkmonger Michael Jackson voice, "Hey, Cridious, what are you doing, Cridious? Oh, Cridious, don't do that, Cridious." Could that have been what got me in trouble? Michael Jackson voice.
Imagine that.
Darth Cisco says, "Hi everyone, welcome back, Mr. Jerkmonger." Ho, I'm back, baby.
Looking out.
Okay, I don't hear Nasser, but I don't know if he's muted.
I'm not muted.
No, Cridious is muted right now. Hey, let me tell you something right now. We are back on track.
Tell them that is human nature.
All right, Dawn Craven. I'm drawing Dawn Craven for you, brother. Here we go.
Yes.
All right, so but here's the deal. If I draw Dawn Craven, everybody else in the chat gets to tell me what to draw, how to draw her.
There's only one way to draw her.
Antonio, don't report
Small
him for
hips.
copyright.
FP Sonny says, "Jerk Streets back." All right. I gotta get to that screen. I have to show that. Show your eye.
Let's see. You just made me have a Howard Stern flashback because he had a parody group called the Backside Boys. they would sing some naughty versions of Backstreet Boys, so it would be hilarious. Yeah.
All right. So for every time I take a drink, I have to go on. I'm going to do a Nick Rekieta. What do you think?
Yeah, do it. You'll be asleep in 20 minutes.
I do sleep, don't I? Hold on. Let's see. This who's back. All right. One more shot. Because I'm a man.
Yeah.
I've got hair on my backside. That was an old joke.
What was it?
I think it was a Ren and Stimpy joke. I'm a man.
You idiot.
Stimpy. Did I spill some? Oh, I spilled.
You're already getting clumsy.
It's almost done. This is my party. It's my party, and I'll drink if I want to.
Oh, hold up! That one's interesting. Billy the Wombat says, "Slave Leia Dawn Craven."
Okay, one more drink, and I'll tell you about that one. Yeah. How long was your jail sentence? Justin Ward, it was for 90 days.
90 days is a long time.
That's a
Dude,
long time, dude.
That was crippling, man. Do you understand how much I couldn't do for those 90 days?
No, I understand. And, you know, I've got a 90-day that I'm waiting to roll off over, you know, because someone hijacked my channel the other night. It was fantastic.
Oh, dude, tell us about that, bro.
Oh, sorry, I did that. Sorry to hear that.
NASA, if that was you, I would hop on a plane, brother. I would come look for you. You know, I would have to, because I did not find that amusing at all.
What? Now, what happened?
I was streaming with Jamal Baraka of Garbage Tier Media, and you know, we were just talking about comics. We were showing different people's books and stuff, and all of a sudden, when he started asking me some things about some of the new pages of brand that Canaan has been turning in, and I was doing screen share, and I made the boomer mistake of showing the Hangout link when I did the screen share, and then that person was able to come in, and then they hit the block on me, and it bumped me out of the room, and they had adult images on the screen there, and YouTube, yeah, it was not a pleasant situation. I got a copyright strike for for community strike for violating terms of service.
Oh, that sucks. How can they not boot you? If
Well,
they don't
I tried to appeal it, and they said that it's. I'm still trying. I've got a case rep. I'm hoping that they can take that off, because I thought that was bogus.
So they can boot you even if they didn't start the stream?
Yeah, because when they came on it, like, say, okay, we're all on this Hangout now. Like, if I block you, it'll bump you from the stream.
Right.
Even me, you can block.
Yeah, I could block Elliot, and it would bump him, because that person blocked me, and I couldn't come back and take the stream back over.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Don't give Mouse any ideas. Yeah, that's terrible, man. That they could pull that off, and I don't know, man. That's really, that does suck. But
yeah,
hopefully you'll get that squared away, because that is a. Well, see, the problem is if they took the video down. That's what has been my challenge.
Well, I mean, I thought I would be able to go back in, because the rest of the video, we're just talking about comic books and stuff. So I could just go in and just, you know, you can go in and edit and clip that last few, like, it's about 4 minutes at the end, and clip it out where you see the young lady there all unclothed and whatnot.
Is it still up? You say it's still up?
No, they boom, it's gone. I mean, they, you know. So.
You think they would be able to watch it and could see what happened?
Yeah, and like I said, I got the little email back from it's like, sorry, after reviewing, we're good. And I was like, that's bogus, man.
Oh, they didn't review it. They didn't look at it.
Yeah, I know. It's like you get a form letter every time. It's like when I got just before that a couple months ago, I had gotten like 300 videos mass flagged on my channel, and then and you know, that's why I've got a caseworker. Her name's Joy, and she's like, Tony, I'm still looking. I was like, it's been 3 months.
Wait a minute, your caseworker's Joy?
Yeah, her name is Joy.
Mine was Juno.
Interesting.
Oh, a lot of J's going on under there.
Well, if I'm being honest, just based on some of the things she told me, I suspect her name's not really Joy. And I also suspect that she's over in like Bangladesh or India or somewhere, just based on some of the conversations we had. You know, it just seems like she's saying, I felt like I was on a outsourced call that was taking place overseas.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, my name is Mary. How can I give you excellent customer service today? It's that kind of thing. You know, it's that kind of thing. So I was like, okay.
I remember I talked to Elvis one time, and I was like, I thought you were dead. And he said, no, I'm here.
We're gonna win this race.
Oh man, no, I that's rough, man. I just coming from where I've been so far, you know, I don't know where I'm going. Smash the like for Jerkmonger. Matt V. Oh man. Peter,
it looked like Elliot. I'm looking at you. It looked like you got a friend of me too. It looks like you got a friend, because I know I have people that stalk my Twitter and stalk my YouTube channel, and I could be talking about puppies and they come to my channel and they hit the thumbs down on it.
Well, I got one. There's always that one guy.
Yeah, you know what?
You always got the same guy.
I welcome you to my channel to give me that thumbs down. That's all right with me. I don't care. All the rest of them are like, you're crazy.
They
Cridious
think they're
says,
hurting you, though.
I have a really bad issues with Hangout. I can't hear anyone on the panel, and it's locked on Nasser's icon. What?
It's not on what I'm seeing.
What do you guys?
Yeah, I'm not seeing that either. Yeah.
What are you guys seeing?
We're seeing you drawing.
Okay, cool.
I see Nasser naked. I do see that.
Whoa!
But but I thought he was trying to show that to me on purpose. I thought he was trolling.
That's the actual footage I meant to upload to your stream.
Can one of you guys share the link with Eric Weathers? If you don't mind.
Sure.
Is that possible?
Got it.
I'll send it to him.
Let's three people send him the link at the same time. Let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, all of you spam him with the link. Oh, that other shot's starting to fill a hole in my heart. Let's see. Hikaru says, "Seeing a maybe sexy lady." Yeah. Okay, all right.
Sexy lady.
This really says Cridious is the pole. I see streams of green, cloud white.
Yeah.
Okay, Cridious sent the thing. Sketch says, "I'm no good at tech support." I like Noah the Hyper Potato. BOF.
Oh.
What's BOF? I don't know.
I don't know. I know that's his son's account. That's not his real.
Oh, Edwin Boyette with $4.99 says, "Aloha." Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. I love it. Thank you very much.
Boyette, I have been trying to send me a message, man. We try to work everything, about that thing. Yeah.
So let's talk about our campaigns, boys. Let's talk about what we got going on here.
Yes, please.
We need to get the one of the reasons why I was so anxious to get back on was because this is definitely a very healthy way to market your product. And I really want you guys to market your products. So go ahead and talk about what you got going on. Lingerie.
Lingerie on Dawn. Come on, do it.
So is it working now, Cridious?
Yeah, I can hear it now.
I wonder what happened.
Fantastic.
That's unfortunate.
You know what I wonder? I wonder that's the reason why they're having these issues. They want to change up Hangouts. Does anybody know what's going on with that? If that's going to be something.
I have no idea. I heard something about it.
I know no details.
Yeah, I gotta figure out that OBS or whatever because I was like, I stream too much.
So it's going to be a disaster. Is what it's going to be. Whatever they do.
Yeah, well,
for about 6 months, it's going to be a complete nightmare. I'll call it.
Well, OBS will save the day. The Apple thing works if I have to download this extension, and I downloaded it, but I don't remember. Obviously I didn't do it right because it didn't work. But we need to fix that. That needs to be done ASAP. But in the meantime, even if I just get to do my own thing. So what are the things that I'm going to be doing more of? Well, obviously we're going to be for. Wait, where are we at? Where's Let's see. Has any updates to ThunderPunch, Brian?
Well, let's see. On GUNSHIP ThunderPunch, we crossed 25,000 today, which unlocked the fan art section in the back of the book.
Congratulations, brother.
Because I'm getting some really cool stuff. And we're at 25,383 right now.
Excellent. How's Brian doing?
We're sitting at like 2,000. We're doing okay.
Okay.
And,
all right, that's terrible, but all right.
yeah, so I don't know.
Okay,
we're doing okay. I'm very thankful, and Canaan is. I just talked to Canaan right before we went live here. He and I were talking and just planning, the next few pages and talking about Way of the Gun and all of that. So, we got a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of work to be done.
I'll tell you the truth. This is definitely tested my mettle in terms of preparing the campaign. And Tony and I were talking earlier. I want to produce some sort of document.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, hello.
Hey, Eric, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how you doing? Congratulations on the jailbreak.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm so pumped up. I'm so excited about that, and I'm glad that you were able to come by, man.
This one's for you.
Yeah. Oh, you know what that means?
Uh,
You know what that means? I don't have much left, but what I
oh
have.
Lord. Oh Lord. Just turn up the bottle.
Hold on. No, wait, man. I'm classy.
Yeah.
I'm classy.
Yeah. Wait, show us that shot glass. See how classy you are.
That's not classy.
Well,
That thing
I
glows
mean,
in
if
black.
you're
on
out
the
for your
window.
girls' weekend, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh,
I like those colors. Wait a minute. My voice is slurring a little bit.
Those colors. Tell me a
Beautiful color.
shot glass and drink it like a band.
I almost spilled it. Hold on.
I hope you took painkillers beforehand.
Then can
Painkillers? What are you talking about?
he's doing it now.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm so happy right now.
Mhm.
Listen, it's either this or
Mm.
birthday cake. And my wife says birthday cake is bad for me. So
Liquor it up.
Here's
Liquor
to
it
you.
is.
this is actually for all you diabetics out there. This is actually the best. Vodka is actually the best alcohol for diabetics.
And for all you normal people, it's scotch.
Yeah,
Scotch.
I agree, Eric.
Scotch is
Yeah.
good. I like scotch a lot too. Hold on.
The slow demise of Elliot.
But I also like Guinness.
What's that?
You got Guinness?
I said, but I also like Guinness. And look, it's stuck in my
Oh,
mustache.
nice. Look at that. Save that for later.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. So why did I shave my beard? Anybody know?
The foam on the Guinness.
because you don't like looking good.
I know that's
I'm
one
gonna
thing.
have to agree with Nasser here.
I like the beard. I miss the beard already, but I will be honest with you. I don't miss getting any kind of ice cream in my beard every time I eat something. Or I wish there was a way to get that through a straw or something. Oh yeah, it's called a milkshake. I'm just saying. But if you like Jimmy's, if you like sprinkles, do you guys what do you call sprinkles?
Sprinkles.
Sprinkles.
Yeah, Jimmy's I've never heard.
You know, Jimmy's is like a Midwestern thing, I think.
Oh, the
No,
Jimmy's.
it is not.
Northwestern Florida or
No. People from like Ohio and
Nope.
yeah, dude. Chicago, you don't count Chicago. Chicago's too urban.
Okay.
It's not?
It's still the Midwest. I've never heard anyone call them that. Everyone calls them sprinkles.
Matt V says Jimmy's. So there you go.
there you go.
Boom. Let's see.
Matt V, the man on the street.
Matt V says East Coast. I don't know if that's East Coast. I called them sprinkles growing up. In New York. But New York's like its own country though. Sketch Therapy says if beer tasted good, you would drink the non-alcoholic kind. It's a matter of which is most palatable. I'm fine with whatever. I don't care. Well, that's not true. All right, let's switch topics again. Which is your favorite and which is your least favorite alcoholic beverage?
I don't drink.
You don't drink at all? Okay, good. Next.
Favorite would be Scotch.
Mhm.
Least favorite. Let me see. Least favorite would be a sour beer.
Ew.
You know,
Sour beer.
like the sour, like a sour flavor.
Oh, okay.
They call those weird vodkas and stuff now. So I don't know. I drink a lot of vodka. Well, I used to. I stopped. I've been trying to detox on the vodka.
Well, diabetes. Okay.
I'm just. I know, and that's I've cut back, but I used to love vodkas and like little mixed drinks and stuff.
I don't drink much, actually. I've only started drinking more when I started doing the Indiegogo campaigns. Eric knows.
I know what's going on. Yeah. I know what's going on.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to agree with Ryan there. Scotch is the best. Scotch. And the least anything that's flavored.
Like vanilla vodka.
Like Fireball whiskey.
I don't mind Fireball.
Cinnamon for me might as well just go jump off a cliff.
But apparently for Ricada, that's his drink of choice. Apparently.
Fireball.
Yeah, that's his super chat. Bring her in her.
No, okay.
Well, all I know is that the next time I see, the first time I see Brian, we're gonna have the cigars
Mm-hmm.
and the whiskeys or the scotches.
The scotches. None of that flavored stuff when you're smoking a cigar.
Lafayette Osvaldo says, I don't drink alcohol. Water is number one. Well, Lafayette, this isn't your party.
Oh.
Wait, I got to give Lafayette the link. I got to do that. Oh, my mouse doesn't work.
Yo, I actually got to dip out.
All right, brother.
All right.
Thanks for hanging out.
You just
Appreciate
got
man.
here. What are you doing?
No, I got to head to bed soon, but love all you guys except Brian.
Oh no,
I'm just kidding, Brian.
Poor Brian.
Nessa's got a hot chick waiting on him. All right,
See
I
you,
got
Nessa.
you, player. Go ahead and get it, man.
All right, see you guys.
Later.
Laters.
NASA player from the Himalayas, man. I feel you.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Hold on, let me get this link going here. Copy. Oh, that's feeling really good, don't you know?
Oh yeah. You sound like you're doing really good over there.
Oh yeah. This is good stuff right here. Oh yeah, Lafayette Acevedo. Oh yeah, he's gonna get the link now. All right, so I'm gonna put that right there. Boom. Lafayette, you don't have to come on, but if you'd like to, you're super welcome, brother. Super welcome. He's gonna be my co-host often. All right, so you guys see me drawing? Am I drawing in front of the chat as well?
Yeah.
I can see it. I'm actually watching the YouTube screen. I'm not watching the Hangout screen. So.
All right. Hold on. You know what that means?
Another shot.
Another shot.
Oh no!
Oh, we're going off the deep
don't
end
get
tonight.
Too sloshed, my man.
Oh man,
You're gonna go right back into YouTube jail after this one.
No, it's not gonna happen. Hold on.
Is that it?
Oh no!
Did you kill it?
This is the last of it right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
There's no more.
Four shots.
Four shots.
I like that with little shaved ice and some orange juice. I'll tear it up, bro.
That's for your party. This is mine.
I already had my party last night, man, and it was crazy.
What's your party for? What you got going on?
It was like we did sexy party, so we did episode 16.
Oh yeah.
It was insanity, and so this was it was it was not good.
Sorry. Lauren V says, another one. This will be a fun stream.
Well, I mean, it's already it's on my channel, and we've got it up on Spotify and iTunes and iHeartRadio and Stitcher and TuneIn. It's everywhere, so it's there.
Paranormals is about to go on to Podcast World.
It is.
Yes, do that.
We're gonna do.
Yeah,
it.
that needs to happen.
Because I had like 8 in the can before I submitted. That way, when they pull the feed, they would have everything. And then one thing I like about SoundCloud is once I rip the audio and load it to SoundCloud, it just goes everywhere. So,
yep, that's happening soon. How you feeling, Elliot?
I'm feeling great.
You started over.
Well, you know why? Because I have this go-to pose thing that I do, and I'm never really happy with it. It's almost like it's overly stiff. You know what I'm saying? I don't care for that too much. So I'm hoping that I should be doing this drawing smaller so I can just kind of have fun with it first and then decide what's the right. This is already done. She's like, I'm a mechanical bull.
Draw around a mechanical bull.
That's not good. You know, this last shot.
A bit much?
A little bit. A little bit. I should probably have some. Wait, I have potato chips in here. I'm gonna need to eat some.
You're craving the potato chips now?
You're gonna drink some vodka, then drink some potato chips and peanuts. You'll be good to go.
Yeah, get those peanuts in you.
I had peanuts. What did I do with my peanuts? I ate all my peanuts. I drank all my peanuts. Look I'm about to do a Picasso over here. it's Don Craven is cubist. Anyway, sorry.
What he doesn't realize is he's actually drawing upside down right now.
Yeah.
With my feet.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so glad you guys came to hang out with me. I appreciate it so much, man.
How could
We had to be here. It's jailbreak day. It's a big day.
Oh my gosh.
Release
Hold on a second. I got to get Eric Weathers. Eric, how's your campaign doing?
Oh man, I tell you what, we are one backer away from the 250 backer milestone. We are $12,329.
Say that again. 12,000.
12,329. We broke 12,000. What's today? Monday. We broke it yesterday. And one more backer will be at 250 backers.
Let me tell you, these keys never felt so light.
Yeah, that's why I was like, we drawing like the mark of Zorro on there and making it all.
Hold on. All right, I need to put this information.
Yeah.
Hold on. It was fun.
Oh my goodness.
Where do I gotta go? Oh, okay. So I have to
INDIEGOGO.
edit. So help me. Just walk me through spelling your name. All right. Also check out these projects by my friends of the Jerkmonger. All right. Let's see.
This is just fun to watch.
Nuts. Oh, no.
All right. No. Look, I'm okay enough.
I'm okay.
I'm fine.
That's not drunk. You're drunk. That was drunk too.
Go home, Godzilla.
Yeah.
All right. Oh man, this is fun. Flying Fortress by Eric Weathers.
A really cool guy. I love Eric.
I love you, Eric. I love you.
All right, my son just woke up, so I need to go put him back to bed.
All right, brother. Be good.
But congratulations. I'll watch the video tomorrow to see how this went.
It's not gonna be good. All right,
everybody. See you later.
See you, Brian.
All right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to save changes. Oh, I want to put it in Cridious's project as well.
Changes.
So I'm trying to figure out a way that I can include an advertisement. So I haven't posted it yet, so you guys will get a chance to see it soon. But I'm starting to create these little like bumpers and stingers for my videos.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to include some of the projects that I want to promote as well. So I'm trying to figure that out. All right, hold on a second. Detective Dead. Oh my gosh, now my fingers are tingling.
It's working its way through your system.
Oh yeah, I better get some potato chips fast.
Yeah, you might want to carb up.
By Cridious. Should I say Cridious or Antonio Malpica? I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go Cridious. Oh my goodness, I'm slurring already. All right, save. Okay, cool. No, I'm good. I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Because we didn't ask you.
Shut up, you. All right. Where am I at? By the way, have you guys been? Do you guys watch? What do you guys watch on YouTube? What are some of your favorite stuff to watch on YouTube?
I watch some. I like Smarter Every Day. You guys watch Smarter Every
Day?
Yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
It's not very consistent, but it's this guy. He's like a rocket scientist or something, and he geeks out about the weirdest things, and he goes into science on different things. But like, he recently did a video on like how fast would you have to swing a golf club in order to shatter the golf ball, and he like slow-mo video of it and everything. They had to shoot it out of a cannon in order to make it happen. No, it was how fast would you have to swing a golf club to dent the golf club and not the golf ball. It was something like that.
Okay.
But he does all sorts of crazy topics like that. Lots of explosions, lots of underwater shooting. It's sort of like Mythbusters, but way more sciencey and way more geeky.
Okay. I just subscribed.
There you go.
All right.
You know what else I like? I like Eric Weathers on YouTube.
Eric Weathers on YouTube. What's up?
I do a daily show called The Forecast where I ramble into the ether.
Did you just say into the ether?
Yeah. It's where you're slipping into it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just popped open my bucket of potato chips.
Bucket.
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why I am excited about getting out of jail. Do you understand how difficult it has been so far for me to try to like get any kind of promotion going on YouTube? It's been crazy. So, you know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to take the opportunity right here,
Do it
right now. All right. So, let me just refresh. GUNSHIP THUNDERPUNCH is at 25,380. Was it 645? Right on. Okay, and then Flying Fortress 329. All right, let's see if it's improved at all. Probably not. But then that's it did 12,419.
Yeah, buddy. Thank
Good
you.
job, man. Earthworm Jim has been at 312,807. We're gonna go ahead and refresh, and we're gonna see what it is now. It is 975, 312,975. Very cool. It's approaching 313. Brand start. It was at 68,650. Okay, still there. Detective Dead 36,910. All right. So one of the things I'm going to try to do is still there at 36,910. Guys, Brand and Detective Dead. I would love to see you guys encourage growth on those two.
Yeah, both of those books look great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I jumped up a little bit too. 30,735. Very, very, very excited. Very appreciative of all you guys for that. If my wife only knew, she'd be so upset right now that I'm a little inebriated.
Hey, we've got a super chat.
Super chat. Hold on. Let me get there. I can't find my.
Can you navigate?
I'm trying. This is so fun. All right. I'm live. All right, there I am.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. I'm laughing too much. No bueno nacho. All right. I'm back, guys. I'm back to the chat. Super chat for $5. Who's that?
That's Zaid Comics.
Zaid Comics, glad you're free. Might start doing lettering streams, practicing my lettering skills, and to help promote my book, Magic Cop, for IGG this August. Sub. What does that mean, sub?
I think he wants people to subscribe to his YouTube channel, which they can do by clicking on his name in the chat there.
Yeah.
Boom. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Yeah. There's another one. There was a super chat before that as well.
There was? Hold on.
There was for 10 A's.
Let me read that one. That one is it Jelly Goblin?
Jelly
Yes.
Goblin.
What does the A stand for?
Maybe Australian.
Okay. Thank you for the Australian $10. Please say anything in the Jerkmonger voice. Thank you. Are you talking about the Macho Monger? Oh yeah. This is probably not a good time for me to do that.
I got a question for you, Elliot.
What's up, brother?
Usually when people get locked up, they come out with some type of trade skill. So what did you come out with?
A half-used can of Vaseline.
Hold on. Let me keep eating some potato chips.
Hey, I'm hearing there's one more super chat above that one that I can't even scroll to.
Yeah, I only see because the other one I thought you read already.
Oh, Zaid Comics. Oh, he read that already. I read that already.
He did? Okay.
Yeah, he got the Zaid one, and he got the last one before that was Edwin Boyette for $4.99. Aloha. So yeah.
Okay. We got them all. I'm just maybe the chat's behind. So
I'm so glad that the vodka's finished. All right. Okay, so I'm okay.
I need to pop some popcorn while I was like this.
Yeah, sit back and enjoy this one.
Listen, man. I'm back.
Guess who's
back in the New York groove.
Hold on.
I'm back.
So my wife bought these potato chips from Aldi's. They're good.
I like Aldi's. My ex used to shop there quite a bit.
I love Aldi's.
Aldi's is great for snacks, but just about that, just snacks.
Did you just say Aldi's was great for blacks?
I mean, sure, why not? It's
Aldi's
great for everybody.
Great for blacks.
It's great for snacks.
Oh, okay.
All right, so I'm back. All right.
He's back. I didn't know you left, but welcome back.
All right. Antonio. This is for you.
Yes. Thank you.
All my friends are like, "Oh my gosh, Elliot is plastered."
You are funny, I will say. That is
Okay, so this is a terrible drawing.
Oh, no lingerie. I'm
you
so
haven't
upset.
done anything yet. You just kind of started doing the outline. I thought you had a nice outline going, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
Well, okay. Let me explain my problem here. So
You're drunk.
I'm not that drunk. Lafayette, you're back.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y usted?
I'm okay.
All right, so my problem here is that what is typical of me to draw this stuff is to stick to a very formulaic approach. And so I tend to draw like very, very goofy shapes. But I really need to think about composition a little bit more. So this is essentially the same as what I had the first time, but I'm trying to, by being a little looser about it, I can kind of play around with composition a little bit more, give myself a little more room to explore negative space a bit.
I actually think this could be a really cool. I could give this. This could be my 70,000 backer pinup.
Yeah,
Not a bad idea.
I like it.
No, slave Dawn. You could have like pennants floating around in the corner somewhere there, and that would be perfect. I think just have her in that pose, and then
Yeah, super chat, Elliot.
Another super chat.
Super chat.
Hold on, I'm trying to manage all the screens. Everett Todd says, "Draw Theo Julio." That messed me up. Hold on. Can you hear me eating the chips?
yes,
Yeah, we can hear it for sure. Yeah,
It's not loud though.
don't tempt him.
No. I probably shouldn't be online right now. All right. Let me see if I can figure this out. Thank you, Everett Todd. Appreciate it for $2. Thank you very much. Draw Tio Julio of Zealot. Well, we're doing Don Craven right now. What happened to my pencil? Oh, wrong screen. All right, so I'm actively trying to draw professionally here. He's got giant hips. All right, so what I want to do is I want to try to figure out a more dynamic pose than this. This is very what would you call this, Eric?
Drunk.
No. I mean, like, yeah, but yeah, that's true. But
Exotic.
But I'm trying to figure out. You know what? Maybe I should just look up some reference for. Talk to me like I'm stupid. Says Hikaru, who's Don Craven. All I get on Google is a real estate agent. Go ahead, Antonio. Tell Hikaru who's Don Craven.
Dawn Craven is the female lead to my comic book brand, and she is the wife of David Craven, the male lead, and that is what she does. So she's my superhero.
So I'm trying to draw her as Princess Leia
in the slave outfit. Yeah,
in the slave outfit. So
yeah, I thought that was a great idea. It was like when it came up in the chat, I was like, "Hey, that's something I hadn't thought of."
I gotta say, that's a catchy name. I really like that name, Don Craven. It's really good.
Oh, it's a good name. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's better than Eric Weathers.
It must much better than Eric Weathers.
Maybe I could throw a leg out this way.
Go for coffee?
I think.
How's that? Is that better? Is that a better idea for the layout, the composition? It's hard to talk about composition about a figure drawing, but there is such a thing. Like if I throw her arm out here, that's one approach. Maybe I can throw her arm over her, across her waist.
Oh, RT Bear's in the chat. Hey, Art, what's going
Hey,
on?
Art,
How you doing, player?
you should come on in, man, so I don't have to sound so ridiculous.
Well,
You're way past that.
yeah, we're past the ridiculous talk.
Yeah, I was like, I know he's in Mike's room. I thought.
We're approaching absurd territory here.
Oh, is Mike on right now?
Huh? What was that?
He was on earlier.
All right.
How about the Yankees?
So her hip is here. Oh, so anyway, I've been watching these videos of video games, and one of the ones I've been enjoying is Rad Brad? Have you heard of that guy? Does anyway, he does you sound great, Elliot, never better. I'm gonna pay for this, I know it. He's been doing live videos of a game. Well, he did it back in May of a game called something Plague. Well, I have it right here. A Plague. Oh, excuse me. My
Plague Inc.
A Plague Tale: Innocence. Have you heard of that game?
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah. I've not
Yeah, it
played
just came out.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good. And he did been doing a live or I don't know if it's live anymore, but no, this is back in May.
Oh yeah, that's the one about the Black Plague.
Yeah, the Black Plague and all the rats and everything like that.
Yeah,
I've been totally caught up in that whole series, watching him play. I don't play games anymore. I can only watch people play games because I don't have time.
Why don't you have time?
should be drinking live on stream.
You have to draw a 96-page comic.
Yeah, there's that. But it's a great story, and it's making me think about different things. It's really forced me to kind of evaluate what we're doing as far as creating comics, and also creating new ideas to how to bring that to the market. Because the game industry already has that built-in audience. But as far as comics are concerned, we kind of have a built-in audience, but we want to expand it further, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been interesting because the genres that are shifting so fast in games, and yet, arguably this particular game is essentially a stealth game. As far as you're trying to hide from everything and trying to make your way through the environment. But what makes it helpful is that the story is so strong. So what do you guys think about coming up with better stories? Like Eric, talk about your project.
You want me to pitch it right now?
Yeah, go ahead and pitch it. Like what's your favorite thing about your story, for example?
I like that we really went for a sort of a callback to the 80s adventure Spielberg style movies that are missing. I feel these days. So we had a lot of influence from like Indiana Jones, things like that. So, but our story, to give a quick pitch, is about a B-17 crew. They go on a top secret mission to bomb Hitler. They succeed in bombing Hitler, but they are shot down by an experimental fighter, and they crash land through an interdimensional portal into the Middle Ages. So they are trying to figure out how they got there and how to get home.
I love that story idea, man.
Thank you.
That's a really good story idea.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely original. Like you didn't hear that. I never heard a more story like before.
There's a couple of movies that it kind of harkens or reminds me of. There was one that had like it has the word experiment in the name. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Oh man, I can't remember the title of the movie, but it's about a ship that ends up in World War II. Modern time ship.
The Final Countdown?
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know where the experiment came from, but anyway.
Came from the bottle, Elliot.
Yeah, it definitely came from the bottle.
No, I always associated with another one. There's another. There was another
Philadelphia Experiment.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about. There's also the Manhattan Project that have that similar kind of idea, at least in the introduction of it.
Yeah, it's Philadelphia Experiment is what you're talking about.
So Yeah, there's something about reviewing, going into stories that have deeper meaning or at least deeper characterization and things like that I find fascinating. And the game market seems to do it well. Do you think your story could play it as a game?
Parts of it, yeah. I guess it would depend on the type of game, because the story, it would have to be story driven, but I don't know if it would be, a third person or first person, or I'd have to think about that. You can sort of play it if you play 1942 on the NES.
Well, think about your story. I think about like you ever play Ace Combat?
Yeah, I've played. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, like a combination of Ace Combat, Battlefield,
Yeah, it'd have to be. It'd have to be for sure. Like think of it like in Call of Duty, you can sort of any of the Call of Duty games, you take over certain roles. So like you're on the ground, you're ground pounder, but then you're in a tank, but then you're in an airplane.
Right.
So you would have to go through those separate scenarios. But if you were to follow the story, I picture like a third person open world, maybe not open world, but a third person action game for sure.
Right. I'm focusing on this figure here. What's wrong with my figure?
The artist.
Nice.
Very good.
I love you, Elliot.
How do you feel about genre oriented? Because here's one of the things I've been thinking about lately. In the indie market, as much as we talk about competing with the big two, I noticed that there's a lot less in the indie stories that we're coming up with, a lot less a superhero product, what really dominates the market. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts about, this is anybody on the panel, obviously. What are your thoughts about why do you think that we're all producing so many like horror stories or science fiction stories versus superhero stories?
Interesting.
I've been seeing a lot of that lately too. Netflix, Amazon, movie theaters. Everybody's doing a lot more of that.
Well, of what?
Of horrors and sci-fi flicks over like superhero movies. Like you got Marvel and DC doing their thing, but I've noticed that some of my wife was like, you notice that there's a lot of horror movies being released like crazy back to back and sci-fi films. It's just crazy. I think that's what they're trying to do. Is they're just trying to stay away from that from the superhero genre. I feel people feel fatigued.
They're just cheaper to make.
Yeah, that could be too.
That's
you can't make a good superhero movie on a budget. Look at Todd McFarlane. He's been trying to get studios to pick up Spawn, and he came on his Instagram and said nobody wants it because they keep telling me they want a superhero movie. They don't want a horror Spawn movie. They want superhero Spawn. So nobody wants to pick it up.
Right.
Because he wants total control and he wants to create a horror movie, and they're like, nobody wants to see that shit, man. They want to see capes and chains and Spawn fighting a villain. They don't want to see Spawn in the dark killing mobsters with Twitch helping him out. Like they don't care.
Right.
I mean, you just can't do superhero content without money. You need a budget. So
it has the money to pay for it itself. Though. I'd almost although they always say don't use your own money, but I mean, he believes in it.
Sean for
my own money.
You don't need money necessarily. I cannot remember the name of the movie. It's got Michael B. Jordan in it and Dean DeHaan. Chronicle.
Oh
now,
yeah.
I guess technically not superhero, but more like dealing with superpowers. But it was super low budget.
But I mean, yeah, but they still spent. I thought they spent at least 100 or so thousand on that at least. But I mean, yeah, but they use very practical special effects and they made it where a lot of the digital stuff wasn't super expensive. It was more character driven. They kind of did the that horror movie where they were in the forest, and they kind of did stuff like that where it's with the cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at Halloween, I think their budget was like $300,000, and they made millions off that movie. The very first one.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, that's 300,000 back then.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, a lot of the horror movies are cheaper to make.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys thinking that maybe that's the reason why maybe subconsciously we're making a bunch of horror stories.
Right. Well, I have this one project I try to submit, and one of the readers is like, well, the problem with your script is that it's a high budget film. What you need to do is create something low budget where these studios they'll make a profit off of it, like a big profit.
And
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just checked on Wikipedia, it has the Chronicle budget at $12 million. Now that's small for a budget for a blockbuster. I mean, it did 126 million against a $12 million budget, but $12 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, but I mean, in Hollywood, I think that's considered a low budget movie.
That's chicken feed. But
yeah,
it's
like catering on a big budget movie.
But there's a couple of movies that they managed to make for because Blair Witch, I think they only spent like $2 or $3 million on. They didn't spend that much on Blair Witch, and it $100-some million.
Yeah, but you're right. It does tend to lean towards horror for that low budget stuff because it's all in the dark. it's like no lights and fake blood, and you're good to go.
Yeah, it's about the scares.
They use the camera tones, like blue or.
I honestly think if they really wanted to do I think you could do a low budget, fairly low budget Batman movie if you stuck to him solving a crime,
right,
in that detective mode. I think that would be really interesting. Just
if you did year one. If you did regular year one where he's still learning, he doesn't have all the fancy stuff yet, you strip it down a little bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Do it.
I wanted to see, like, imagining Batman doing the movie 7, I think, was it?
They're actually saying this new one.
It's more of a detective story.
But the Matt Reeves one that's coming up with Robert Pattinson, they're saying that it might do the Long Halloween story that Jeff Loeb wrote.
That's
which I thought that was a dope story. So that's why because they're saying they're going to be at least like 4 Bat villains and all this kind of stuff. So
yeah, there's Penguin, Catwoman, Firefly. Yeah, I don't know who they already announced the 4th one. I forgot who it was.
It was 3 main villains, and I thought it was Riddler. But it was like 3 main villains and kind of a B villain. They said so.
Yeah, but he said it's a detective story.
I hope so.
And he said it's an original story, so I don't think it's gonna be Long Halloween.
Did Marvel do something like that with like 3 or 4 more villains? I might think about somebody else, another company.
Not sure.
So, do you think that we need more superheroes in our independent stuff?
You know what I think? I think we just need a good story to go with whatever character we create.
I mean, just look at the independent stuff that's popular. I mean, do you still include Image as being independent?
Not like
you know what I mean, because their most popular books they've ever made are probably superhero books outside of Walking Dead.
Yeah, Invincible.
Yeah,
you got Invincible, which is being turned into something supposedly, and
all Robert's stuff is bought. He sold all his property.
Yeah. Seth Rogen bought Invincible, so he's supposedly turning into something.
As long as he doesn't decide that he's Invincible's dad or something like that.
Yeah, as long as he's not the voicing it, I think I'll be all right.
Because I was like, how do you screw up the Green Hornet, man? How do you screw that up? I'll play the Green Hornet myself.
I love that movie. What's wrong with that movie?
Oh man. Well, that's
He's
what
the
I'm
Green
saying.
Hornet.
That's not my opinion that it bombed. It bombed.
Yeah, it did bomb. It did.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what's wrong with it. It bombed.
Fair enough.
And I thought, well, first of all, the second guy that played Kato, because the guy they originally cast as Kato, I thought was stronger. I think he was. I'm trying to remember. He was in this cool kung fu flick. I thought, man, I can't remember the name of it. I think Ong Bak Tai. I think it was.
That was like a movie.
Yeah, I think. Well, he was the first Kato. He dropped out, and then they got the second guy's okay. But when I first heard the dude from Ong Bak Tai was playing Kato, I was like, yeah, get it. And then he was like, yeah, I'm getting out of this, and he got out of it. And they brought the second guy in, but Seth Rogen was was actually at least 60, 70 pounds fatter than he was when he decided he's like, I'm gonna lose the weight. And he slimmed down, but he's not
no excuses. The movie sucked. Like,
but
the story was stupid.
Well, I thought, okay, and some people don't like Preacher. I thought the way he did Preacher, the television show, I thought it was smart. And I thought it worked, but there's a reason it's going off the air now. They probably, if he had just, but I thought the way they did Preacher for the most part was at least respectable. He respected the material. So he should have been a producer on Green Hornet and hired the right people instead of going, I'm going to be the Green Hornet. And it's just like,
well, the Preacher was good though. I mean, it stuck pretty close.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I thought he did a good job producing the show. But yeah,
well, you gotta understand, when he made Green Hornet, he was one of the hottest names in Hollywood.
But
so it's like, oh, Seth Rogen's in it, it's gonna make money. That's exactly what the studios thought. Because I don't think Seth Rogen had anything to do with that movie outside of being in the movie.
No, he was a producer on it too. He thought yeah, he's just like Superbad and some of he was producing, that's why he created his own film company. So, I mean, he's had a bunch of hits, like Pineapple Express and, different movies that he's done, he does that stoner movie thing real well. It's like, I dig that.
Art imitates life.
Oh, it was very funny on Snoop Dogg's YouTube channel. They were toting it up. I was like, all right, man. I was like, get it.
I don't know. I think it's hard to create independent books that are superhero books.
Yeah.
That are superhero books?
That aren't. I think people gravitate towards that genre,
Well, Westerners for sure. The Western market.
Well,
yeah, I mean, look at DC. You know what DC's coming? No, it's Marvel. Marvel's coming out with their own manga books.
Yeah.
They're trying to basically go a different route, see if they can attract a different market.
So what do you guys think about that? What do you think about Marvel's approach to, obviously there's a lot of discussion about, I hate to bring it up here, but like the SJW movement and stuff like that. What do you think about that? Is that a legitimate option for them? Do you think that they made the choice on a legitimate basis, or are they just kind of being weird?
I think they're just trying to reach a different market, trying to get different dollars. That's all.
Yeah. Didn't they try that back in the early 2000s?
Well, they did, but the problem is they try to use their own characters and convert them. This is, manga Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so on. But so these new books are all original characters.
Okay.
And they're set in that universe, whatever their little manga universe is.
Wait, what are you talking about? What are they doing?
So Marvel's coming up with their own manga books.
Okay.
And they are separate from the Marvel universe, but they're superheroes and so forth. And it's all manga style, the whole look, everything. So
then they do something with I know you just answered that, but then they do something with the Sentinel character. I mean, what are they creating that's different from what they already have in their stable?
Well, think about it. They don't have books that look like that style, so they're going for that style. Does that make sense? Like they have a book called Arrow coming out, and the style looks like Ghost in the Shell. Then they have a book called The Sword Master, and it looks like the style of not quite Dragon Ball, but I don't know what. Anyway, it's totally manga. I mean, it's 100% anime/manga, and these books have their own universe. And like I said, I think they're just shooting for different dollars. Okay, well, the kids aren't gravitating towards our 10 Spider-Man titles, so maybe they'll like our new 5 manga titles, right? And think about it. If they can get that audience, that's a huge audience. Can they get that audience? I say no, but they'll try.
Luffy, I know you not discussed this in the past, but I think that's a legitimate approach to trying to get a new audience. I don't see a problem with that in general.
No, there's no problem with that. I just don't think it'll work because, like myself, I don't buy those books, manga books and so forth. But the built-in audience, how are you going to get the manga reader to the comic book store for things they're going to be unaware about? They don't, they don't go to the comic book store for because they think that's only for the American audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
So how are they going to get into Joe Blow's comics to pick up Arrow #1 when they only go down the street to whatever cards and games to pick up their manga? You know.
So do you think that there's a problem with our distribution system then? That is it a problem? I mean, I'm kind of tipping my hat here, but do you think there's a problem with having comics distributed at a local comic shop versus a wider audience? I don't know. What is it really in a wider audience? A venue where more customers show up, or what?
Yeah, no, I think that's what it is. I think they need to play this right for them. They need to go to huge anime conventions and put up big old banners and booths and like, look what Marvel's offering, you know, hand out free issues of #1, you know,
Are they
meet the
doing that?
artists. Oh, I don't know. I assume they're going to do that at San Diego. That's what I assume, but that's what they're going to have to do, because you can't just drop these books in comic shops, because, you know, art appeals to the fan typically more than the writer. And if they don't care for the manga style of art, they ain't gonna buy it. So, you know. So, and most people I know, they don't care for that style of art.
Yeah.
So, just, you know, but again, they're trying something new, just like DC. DC pulled all Vertigo. They basically closed Vertigo down.
Did it really?
Yes. Now it's all in-house, and Vertigo will now be known as Black Label, just like their other Black Label books.
Okay, so we get to see more of Batman's stuff.
Well, but they don't constantly show his penis all the time. I don't know, maybe you photocopied that page and made a 24-page book out of it. But I mean, you know, they did it once, and that's all. So
they're just testing the waters, is all.
That's what it is. It's just like the new Superman came out last week by Frank Miller and John Romita.
How was that?
It's just another origin story. Like, we need that, Frank? We don't need it. But you throw those two on a book together and people are going to buy it. You know?
Those two what?
Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. But again, I mean, how many times can you tell his damn origin story? You know?
So this is turning into comic book crossfire.
But you know what I mean, though. It's just, you know, you ask about the superhero genre, people want more or less of it. I don't think people ever get tired of it. It's just, can you create a new character people give a shit about, really?
Yeah, that's the trick. Is it feels like it's all on lockdown right now because it's so hard to get a new character in for anybody to care about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. That's how I look at it. You can create a badass character, but if no one gives a shit, it's gonna sit on the shelf.
Because how many? I mean, what's the? Can you even name a character that's within the last 5 years that people actually care about? That's new.
That's a great question.
That's a good one. Outside, no, because if you think about DC and Marvel, they haven't created anybody that people gravitate towards.
Yeah, even if they have, it's usually a derivative of somebody else.
Oh yeah, or it's short-lived.
Yeah,
you know? There's really no one. I mean, probably the last new character that was hot, it was Invincible.
Yeah, probably so.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to do superhero books that people are gonna grab, because it's hard to do original superhero books. It just is. It's just like someone put in the chat. Before Batman, there was Zorro, and Zorro was the exact same character, a rich guy that was a vigilante.
Yeah,
you know.
But that's kind of a sad state of affairs, right? Because really, that's the American invention. Are we saying that we can't improve upon what's available, or can we try to come up with something? Is there room for something? Are you saying that there's no room for something else, or are we saying that there can be room? We just haven't figured it out yet.
I think there can be room. I just think that you're going up against decades of fandom and trying to find your niche that's going to carve out a little something for itself. Is you're up against the deck is stacked. How can you? Invincible was really interesting because it took the team dynamic and the Superman dynamic and sort of threw them together, and then made it mature. Because it was like 4 or 5 issues before they ripped off opened the curtain and said, "Oh, by the way, this is going to be very bloody."
Yeah.
So I just think that may have been that hook that I mean, I loved Invincible. The story was great. The characters were characters I cared about. And Kirkman can really write a good team book, but I think without that hook that can draw a reader in, then you may be dead in the water.
See, I tend to think that there is room for something. I just think that maybe some of the it's hard because you're right. You know, a lot of the American comic book superhero is the American invention, and it's created, or I should say, it's been built upon the shoulders of characters like Superman and Batman, which are obviously owned by somebody else. So everything else seems derivative. I just feel like, you know, with all the movies going on, I feel like there's opportunity that people would accept it. But maybe you're right. Maybe it's because we're dealing with a customer base in the comic book industry that is already kind of settled on what they feel is the comic book, or the superhero genre. You know,
no matter what. I mean, the main problem, you just answered it. No matter what you create, people are going to go, "Oh, that's just a copy of that." Look at how many
you pitch it too. You're like, well, Batman, but
I mean, we can sit here and name characters like Batman, right? Oh, Moon Knight. Oh, that's just Batman. Oh, really? But he's different origin. That doesn't matter. He's still just Batman.
Yeah.
So this is an interesting question. Do you think that superhero genre is actually a genre then? Because it sounds like it's not really a genre. It sounds like you can tell a different cowboy story. You can tell a different science fiction story. You can tell a different alien horror story or horror story in general. But it sounds like we're limiting ourselves with the superheroes. Do you think that's true?
I think so.
Wow. I don't know about limiting yourself so much, as in there's so much content out there. No matter what you do, someone's going to say, "Oh, it's already." It's like, remember that episode of South Park when
Simpsons
no matter what
it.
they do, the Simpsons did it, and they're like, "What do you mean? The Simpsons already did that." Like, oh, no matter what they did, somebody yelled it out. Simpsons did it, and they're like, "God damn it." That's the problem with comics. You can come out with whatever you want. Someone's going to say, "Oh, but didn't so-and-so do that? Or that looks like that guy. Or that guy just reminds me of that guy." This is like Major X, right? People are all like excited about this stupid Major X comic Marvel put out.
Greatest character ever created.
There you go. And all Liefeld did was, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of Deadpool, a little bit of Cable. I'm going to mix them together. I'm going to make them look stupid because I'm a Liefeld. And boom, there's your new character that Marvel seems to love. But he's nothing new. He's another time-traveling. He's Cable's son. He's another time-traveling guy that looks a little bit like Deadpool with a funny helmet.
So then the superhero genre is not legitimate then?
Well, of course it's legitimate. I mean, it's the genre. It's just that.
Well, is it really?
It's like Eric said, there's no room for more, because people are always going to go. It's almost like the room is full. There's a waiting line outside, you know, but no one's opening the door. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You better have a great idea for them to let you in that club.
Let's ask Sweetcast and Art T. Bear. Welcome to the show, guys.
Welcome, guys.
Hey, man. How you doing?
What's up, brother? Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. I decided to let you finish eating your chips, Elliot, before I came on.
Listen, if I didn't eat those chips, I'd be in a much different situation right now.
No, you sound better.
I'm way better. I'm way better.
No, but can I add a little bit to what you guys were talking about?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think, you know, I've been doing this for quite a while, and the way the industry always thought about these characters and these stories, you know, I'm mainly talking about Marvel, DC, the mainstream stuff, is that there were 5 years where you would have a fan base. So from like, I don't know, 9 to 15, or, you know, whatever the age group, 7 to 15, I forget what it was, but that's when people read comic books. So children, you know, like young children would read kids books like that were, you know, directed at little children. And then comic books were kind of like for, you know, like tweens and young teenagers. And then once you got into high school and college, you started reading real, like either, action adventure, like real action adventure, like Burroughs stuff, or, some of the sci-fi stuff. And then you just read real books. So you usually got around 5 years of time that you would have a fan base. And then what they would do is they would grow up and move on to these other books. And then you would get a whole new group of kids in from that age group that you would introduce these ideas. What's happening now is that people aren't leaving to go read other books and stuff. We're kind of keeping the same fan base. So the reason it's kind of tired, I think, and the reason it's hard for people to tell these stories is because they're selling it to the same people.
Right.
They've been reading these books since they were 5, and they've seen all these stories. They've seen all these characters. They've been there. They've done that. So I think that's the biggest challenge for Marvel and DC is how do you make something fresh when you've been selling it to the same person for maybe 20, 30 years?
So the question I have though is really, is it really a challenge for Marvel and DC, which already have the corner market on those established characters? Or is it actually a challenge for us to create new content within that same genre, if indeed it qualifies as a genre? Because based on what we're saying here, it may not actually qualify as a genre since it can only be Superman and Batman and Spider-Man.
You're talking about superhero genre?
Yeah.
Versus like sci-fi or horror or whatever?
Correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel, it feels like a subgenre to me. Like it's not even... because there's so many, it feels like there's a lot of requirements for what makes a superhero story versus like horror. There's just more options that you have, things you can do with it. And in other mediums like movies, I don't know, superhero movies to me are action films. That's the genre that they're in. But in comics, it's almost like the only genre is superheroes.
But the thing is, Marvel and DC, they published horror books as well. They published Western books. They published romance books. I think currently is where you're seeing more specialized product. Before they published all the above.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's definitely more in indie comics. It seems like there's more variety, and that's what I like about indie comics. I don't know. This might be blasphemous. I get tired of superheroes sometimes.
Oh my God.
Well, that's why I bring it up, because I've noticed that a lot of the stuff that we're producing in general, if you notice a lot of the big, I don't know how to say it, the big campaigns, if you will, a lot of them are kind of built around horror. Not superhero, although a lot of the people that are in the community that we're catering to are very much a comic book superhero audience. So I wonder, I guess I'm trying to explore the idea that is there room for superheroes in independent comic? Obviously there is. I mean, anyone can make whatever they want, but I mean, is there a chance for a superhero comic to really flourish? Is it not time yet? Maybe it's just not time. Maybe we need some time before whatever's going to happens with the big companies. Or maybe is there hope for someone who wants to tell a good story with a superhero?
Yeah, I think there's still hope.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, what's the latest superhero book that has been really taken off? What's the newest superhero book that's thrived?
You mean even from the big two?
Anybody, like, I don't know, Invincible maybe, like I'm Robert Kirkman. I'm trying to think of what's a...
Yeah, we identified them. They're probably the pinnacle of stuff. So then what do you think is, I guess this is an interesting topic, because I think you can kind of filter this out into like, what are all these people that want to do their own projects? What would you recommend if you were having to recommend someone, hey, I want to work on a project. I want to do something like an independent comic story. I want to do crowdfunding. Where would you take that? Where would you go as far as like, if you had to suggest, hey, I would suggest trying this instead of that, what would you do? What would you suggest to a new starter? Or would you at all? Is that fair?
I would look, for me personally, I look at larger trends in books in particular, and I think you could learn some things from manga as well. But my angle, and I've been pretty open about this, is I see a lot of if I'm looking for young adults, they're reading YA literature, and that's been extremely popular even with adults. And so that's kind of been the market I've been kind of creeping toward for comics, because I feel like it's missing a little bit, but I don't know, that's probably personal preference.
I think the reason, just to go back a little bit, like as far as like superhero comics, and why a lot of people, you know, on this thread and in general in the independent, it's like, why compete against Marvel and DC? You know, they kind of got that whole thing locked up. So I think the only way you can stay competitive or that you can stand out is not to do the same product. So I think that's why in independent marketplace you don't see as many superheroes, because anything we were to do would automatically seem like a contrivance of one of those concepts from Marvel or DC. People would see right through it instantly. They go, oh, that's like Superman, or that's Superman meets whatever kind of ideas. And I just think that if we are going to build and try to find a new fan base and a new marketplace, I think we have to create different types of product that fits a new need that might not be Marvel and DC. You know, if they want those books, they can go there. But if they want a cool horror book or something like that, you know, they can get Elliot's book. You know, if they want a cool, you know, noir, you know, detective book, they can get Cridious's book, or, you know, or whatever, or, you know, sci-fi spy adventure, they can get Black and White. So I think that, you know, we're filling a need. I believe we're filling a need that isn't there in the marketplace, because it is saturated with superhero stuff.
So that's interesting, because in a way you can also argue that the marketplace is saturated with Aliens and Aliens Part 6 and Predators, and what makes our products so different and so unique. Because I guess, and obviously I'm not arguing with you. I agree with a lot of the points you guys are making. How, if someone has it in their heart to do a superhero story, they're obviously going to compete with some of these big hitters in the superhero genre. When you talk about Mike just mentioned vampires and zombies. There's a ton of zombie stories, and yet there's no shortage of it still coming out. Why does it work for zombies and vampires and not for superheroes? How about that?
Well, I don't think Marvel and DC are publishing those books, really, are they?
Well, DC is. It just released the new series, Deceased.
And
but I think
Marvel has Marvel Zombies too, though.
Yeah, but I think it works because of the superhero genre, right? You don't, you know, how can zombies overtake a superhero universe? So readers are like, oh, this is going to be interesting. How does this even play out? But without the superhero thing, if Marvel just came out with a zombie book, people probably wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah. And then to back up a little bit, what Elliot was saying is, I think why our books and independent books stand out from those, as well as because it's an independent voice. So it's whatever we bring to the project. So Elliot's voice is original. It's not a corporate mandate. It's not, you know, editorially driven or anything like that. It's whatever he wants to write and whatever he wants to draw. You know, the same with Antonio or anybody else that's in the chat right now. So I think why these independent books are cool is because of the individuals that are creating them. And so that's why they're going to be original. So even if we were to do a superhero book, it would be filtered through, you know, the individual creators' sensibilities. It wouldn't be a Marvel or DC book.
Sweetcast, you mentioned earlier about manga and anime. Obviously, that's a very as long as it's funny, because a lot of people will look at that with disdain, but they're clearly it's still a movement even in the West. What are some of the? Do you see any superheroes in manga? And do you see? And why don't we see it or do see it?
Well, I'm not a huge manga reader, but I don't know. I've been looking into a little bit of what they're doing, but One Punch Man comes to mind. That's relatively new.
Mhm.
That's a superhero story, but it's really unique.
Mhm.
And in that it's kind of a satire, I guess. I don't know if any of you've watched it or read it.
Yeah, I've read it and watched it.
Yeah, but it's different. And part of that, I don't know. I just got finished watching Death Note with my wife. I was like, you need to watch this. We watched through the whole thing. And something I've noticed is it seems like they are telling stories that you'd have a harder time getting away with here, just in Western storytelling. Like, Death Notes is just a tragedy, and you're following the bad guy. He's the protagonist. And I don't know, like same with One Punch Man. It's like they're kind of challenging conventional storytelling as Western storytelling would view it, and that I think makes it interesting. I think there's room. You could make a superhero comic, but you just have to find what's the angle, what makes it different than everything else that's out there.
No, I agree with you because the Western comics, there's a format to storytelling. You got your beginning, your middle, your end, but they have like stages. Like the 5 stages of what the character goes through. And the stage where they meet the mentor and what happens next. Like the hero's journey. And I think with like the Eastern culture, they just write whatever they feel. They don't care about the structure.
The difference is in manga books, it doesn't evolve around the action.
Right.
Manga books are clearly just the character driven, but there's not a lot of, like, even One Punch Man, the way he got his powers, he didn't get his powers like any type of way. He just worked out every day until he became strong enough to kill you with one punch.
Right.
That's how he got his powers. All because he wanted to be a hero.
Right. Did you ever see like animes, how they start off the season? It's like you get like, depending on how many episodes in the season, you'll get like 5 to 7 episodes of just straight storytelling. They give you a little teaser here and there, but within like the 7th and 8th episode, that's when you start seeing the hero developing powers or exploring something you didn't know was hitting inside him.
Here's the main problem. The reason why you can't do that here and have books that are like Death Note, you'll never have a book like Death Note.
No.
It's because people already have it built into, where's my spandex hero and why isn't he punching the shit out of someone by now? I'm on page 3 and they're still having conversations. I don't want this damn book. You know what I mean? They kind of want what the movies are giving them for that new crowd, but the old crowd already has it built in that Spider-Man better be fighting somebody by page 5 or this is trash. And people better be wearing spandex costumes, and you don't get that in manga. People don't wear spandex costumes running around. They're usually just wearing regular clothes with swords and yelling at each other with spiky hair.
There's also there's a lot of pressure to kind of to follow formula writing for storytelling, and I understand, like, I'm a plot driven writer. That's how I write, is I work out the plot first and get an outline, but that can also be really limiting, and especially in comics. And I've had this advice before, like, oh, you're going to do if you're going to do a sci-fi, your sci-fi has to have this, and that. And that's really limiting. And so with superhero stories, you've got this massive list of what a superhero story should be. And I really think that's limiting. So I don't know, like, outlining's good, but at the same time, you gotta be able to move away from it enough that it keeps it fresh, or you're finding something new. I realize it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Well, like, art's not wrong. We said it earlier. If you come up with a superhero, people are just going to look at that like, oh, been there, done that, seen it. Oh, isn't that so-and-so? So you can do superhero books all you want. It's just your angle, how you take the angle, how you do it. Do you want to put your superhero in space? Do you want, you know what I mean? Where are you going to put him at? And how you, and people, I'll be honest, his look is always going to appeal to people. Your superhero's look will appeal probably number 1 to people, and they'll probably give it a shot.
Do you think American audiences impede or create obstacles for some of these things, since they have a very formulaic approach to how they want their superheroes to be. Because it sounds like every time someone tries to do a super, like, you guys remember Darkman?
Oh yeah.
Great.
I remember when I first watched that film, I never got the impression it was a superhero when I was a younger kid, because I had a very specific way of seeing superheroes. Like even in the 30s, superheroes, you had guys like the what is it, the Ghost Who Walks, what's his name, the Phantom, the Shadow,
The Spirit.
Were those superheroes, or were those pulp characters, action characters that happened to fall into the superhero genre because they were imbued with specific powers or something like that?
I don't think they were considered superhero at the time. I think they kind of get lumped in there now, but I don't think they were at the time. I think they were just action adventure heroes. And personally, I like the action adventure heroes almost more than I like the superhero characters. Just personally.
That's interesting.
No, but he's right. That's how I look at those characters. They weren't superheroes back then. They were almost like you said, pulp character, you know.
Well, the Lone Ranger was, you know, and a lot of those characters were vigilantes, you know, that took the law into their own hands and did what needed to be done. The Lone Ranger, you know, a lot of those pulp characters, that's what they did. But they weren't necessarily super powered. They didn't get, superpowers, because I don't even think of Batman as a superhero. I think Batman is basically, he's the Dark Knight detective. He's a vigilante.
But DC tries to market him that way, though, right? They have multiple versions of that Batman character. There's the Dark Knight detective in your Detective Comics. There's Batman, and is the superhero in his Batman story.
Yeah.
And then when he's in Super Friends, he's like in ultra superhero mode.
Super Friends? You said Super Friends?
Did I say Super? I meant Justice League. I'm still recovering.
I know when he was in Super Friends, though.
but remember, Batman, like you say, superhero mode by association, though. When he's in JLA, it's if he ain't hanging around the other fellas that can help him out to get to where he needs to get, he can't do half the things he could do.
Right.
Yeah.
But if he's trying to stop the Penguin in Gotham for the 100th time, he's going to get it done. He's not good at his job. Maybe
what we're really saying is that the superhero by itself is not as important as the action or the hero's journey concept and getting you there. And maybe that's the reason why people are willing to explore things like science fiction and fantasy and horror in independent books, because it's not necessarily nailed down to capes and spandex. It's really, at the end of the day, what we're attracted to may not even be the capes and the spandex, but maybe we just like the adventure and the growth of a character.
Right.
Or to back up, like DC, Marvel are very formulaic. They're very editor driven company these days. That's one of the reasons I don't really care to work there as much, is because it's all on high. There's mandates. It's like, this is going to be the crossover. This is going to be this is going to be that. And years ago, it used to just be, it was editorial, but it would be like if the editor was on, the Batman book, it was all about the Batman book. So you pitched ideas, you were creatively, you had input on the book. You could take the stories in different directions. The writers had freedom. Now you have to send scripts and get them okayed. Months and months in advance. You have to audition for a job. You have to, like say there's a Batman opening, they'll have a bunch of writers write up manuscripts and send them to, DC or Marvel. And then they get to pick through them and figure out who they want the best, who's the best at that idea. And I just think that the creativity on the fly, month to month, all that has been taken out of.
Wait a minute, Art, do you really believe, because just the stuff that's been coming out over the last few years, that's not what's happening? They're picking people based on identity politics and
well, that's part of it as well, because that's all mandated on high, and that's a policy. That's kind of what I'm talking about, where it's not like an editor himself gets to come up with a creative team he wants to work on the book, and then puts that team together and kind of leaves them alone to come up with ideas. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's not done month to month creatively like that. So you don't have like those moments of inspiration. You don't have those kind of those ideas that can just happen, and they don't encourage those individuals to do that. Like people were just coming up with villains and just just month to month coming up with new ideas to try to entertain people. They weren't thinking of any bigger picture other than the next book and how to make it entertaining. Now, I mean, they have this stuff plotted out a year in advance. Like, like it's such a stilted, stagnant, sterile way of working on this stuff. And I think that's also why some of these superhero books aren't quite as interesting as they may have been at one point.
So
you're right. Yeah.
Do you think maybe there's room for maybe instead of looking to do superhero books, maybe we should be trying to do like, is there room for a company that has multiple books under their umbrella, but has various genre attached to it instead? Or should we even be worried about genre?
No, the problem with the new company is always going to be distribution. That's just it. How do you get it out there to the masses without going crowdfunding? How do you get a distributor behind you to push it into the stores and genre? Who cares about genre? If you create good books, okay, but do you still think names carry? Do you have to have names under your company, to sell your books? People attracted to just names. Oh, you got this guy working for you, or this guy working for you. I think there's a lot that goes into it.
The thing is, what I'm trying to also identify here, and by the way, thank you guys so much for chatting with me on this. This is actually really good.
This is fun, Elliot.
Yeah, because I like exploring like why things happen versus what is happening, because what is happening is always is just a symptom of why it's happening. So the problem I see with things like horror, and I love horror, but horror generally, if you look at most people when they talk about movies, you see it in the film industry as well. They may do well percentage wise, but they're not received well by the masses. It's still a niche product. How can we possibly what can we do to? Is there a way are we trapped by genre? Is that affecting everything? Because maybe a person who's not interested in horror might not like Doomkicker.
That's a good question. Don't you think a horror can't hold an audience that long? You know what I mean? Like, if you had to compare it, to the superhero genre, I don't think a horror book can hold an audience that long. What are they there for? To see?
Well, horror isn't like an ongoing idea. It's
yeah.
It definitely has a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be hard to write a horror unless it was some kind of anthology or something like that. Like what is the one with the Crypt Keeper? Where you
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, Tales from the Crypt kind of idea.
No, you're right. So if I had to name a genre outside of superheroes that could carry a series, it'd have to be sci-fi. It'd have to be a space adventure.
Well,
and I think a good space adventure
sci-fi already, in a sense.
Well, you're not wrong about that, but I'm saying, a Star Wars type of story, or that last book that Stuart Immonen did with I think he did with Miller. It was called Empress. Yeah, like that, where it was a really good story. It's a fun story, and I could see it continuing and giving me more issues of it.
Have you seen him and his wife working on something on Instagram where they just post up the comic strip on Instagram?
Yeah, their sci-fi story that kind of builds up. Same type of, and it has the same feel as that book, Empress. Yeah.
I love that we're identifying these things, because I think that that's really part of the big challenges. Like, okay, so like I know I've noticed, I've often said, I forget who said it, I think it was you, Art, that said that that's, maybe it was Sweetcast, Clint, but maybe it's the we're looking at these things as superhero genre, but really what they are, action adventure. then you include elements like horror. So it makes me think about what's this cat's name? The guy that developed Avatar and then Aliens. James Cameron, right. James Cameron. If you look at Aliens, it's a science fiction movie, but it's also a war movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a horror movie. Maybe that's what we should be thinking of instead of one genre or another, but how to kind of meld the languages of each to tell our story.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, guys? Clint?
I think whatever you do, whatever route you go, people are looking for an emotional hook. And I think that gets overlooked in indie comics a lot, especially when I see indie superhero books coming out. Not all the time, but yeah, it's like different spices, there's different seasonings. That's the way I think of it, I guess. A little bit of horror makes you feel something. Maybe that sounds a little silly, but it's true. That's the thing that people will remember. And even in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, the moments that I think people enjoy a lot are just the little emotional moments, whether they're funny, and even though it's not necessarily a comedy, they'll have those moments, or they'll have those, like they get me every time, the hero moment where somebody's in trouble and then all of a sudden a hero shows up, and they do that all the time, almost like a jump scare is to horror. They'll have the hero come, but you get an emotional reaction from that, and that's what works no matter what you're doing in storytelling, is to make people feel something, whether it's scared or whatever it might be.
Interesting. So characters that that resonate, characters that you can connect to, that you want to see the next adventure. Character-driven stuff is probably better than the genre itself. If you could create an Indiana Jones character and that you really like that guy, you're going to follow him in all the different adventures he goes on. So if you can create a really cool, likable character, whether it's sci-fi, superhero, horror, whatever it is, I think that is the key. If you can create, a likable character that people just want to see more of, that's always the thing.
Right. Yeah.
The most popular superheroes.
Yeah, but don't you feel, okay, say you're starting, of course, everyone's starting a new book or something. Don't you feel no matter what your genre base is, your visual has to hook the consumer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I look at it. Your visual has to hook the consumer first. If I see, so like Red Rooster, for instance, when I first saw that, I was like, oh, that looks really freaking cool. And right away, I gravitated towards it, checked it out, backed it, so on and so forth. And now I'm like, oh, and I already knew, the artist and so forth. I already, know his work, but the visual hooked me in, and I also feel like that's a huge, you can create any genre, but if your visual doesn't hook somebody in, I mean, well, how's he going to get them to come to you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it sounds like we can learn a lot from even the film industry. A lot of people see comics as the step before film, but it sounds like there's some things that we can learn even from that and kind of borrow from that industry and say, hey, because there's a lot of character and concept development that goes on in film that we don't see a lot in comics that we could probably benefit from in general, right?
I think
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say, not I wouldn't necessarily say film as much as you do in the serialized TV these days.
Okay.
Because let's take Breaking Bad, for instance. That wouldn't have worked as a movie. Not in the way that people fell in love or fell into hate with certain characters. So I feel like if you were going to look for an influence of how to develop a character, I think looking more towards those types of television shows you might be able to glean more from that, just because generally speaking, the comic book format is serialized in the same way. So
Gotcha.
you can use that as a basis for how to make a good character arc. Now you can have a good character arc in a movie, but it's still limited, and really in comparing it to comics, if you're looking for that comparison, it's more like what kind of action can we get out of this movie? Now, like I said, there are great movies with great character, but that whole long form, seeing a character devolve and change over 5 seasons, or in this case, what would it be? 10 issues or whatever. I think that's a better route to take for the
you definitely get more characterization in and evolve and develop the character. Yeah.
It almost sounds like, when we're talking about a little bit of the aesthetic versus the substance of the story itself. It's almost like one of the challenges that we're having now in our current culture, where we're fighting against what some would call SJW culture or whatever. It sounds like what we're really, it's one of the, I think one of the reasons why we react so viscerally to it is because Indiana Jones is just as much a Superman to me as Superman is. Because of his personality, because he's so masculine, powerful, and strong. Even though he's not the same character, but he represents that kind of ideal.
It represents something to aspire to. I think that's the hook with the superhero genre, is generally it's a character to look up to and to aspire to be, to act that certain way. Whereas more of the indie stuff that isn't necessarily superhero focused, maybe more geared towards let's look at this character and make him more realistic or have more problems or whatever it may be. But characters that are, like you said, Indiana Jones, there's an ideal there. There's a I want to be like that when you experience those stories.
Well, I don't want to call out Art for being old. You did call out.
No, call him out.
You did call out Lone Ranger, for example. And Lone Ranger was a superhero, quote unquote, to that generation because of what he's represented. So maybe the superhero is not a genre, but it was just it's a language for that culture that just happens to.
I don't think that term even existed when he was created. I think Superman was the first superhero.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying that he wasn't called a superhero. He was just a hero.
You're not wrong, but don't you? The Lone Ranger, at least to me, was always a Western.
Yeah,
he was never a you're right, a hero, but a hero. The setting is in a Western, so you just think Western. You don't even think hero. You just think, oh, here comes the cool Lone Ranger in his Western.
Well, but if you look at
was the genre, and the Lone Ranger was the archetype.
Yeah, he's basically the vigilante.
Yeah.
So then that's why it's not necessary to have a superhero. What we're looking for, what we're starving for, maybe thirsty for, is the hero. And maybe that's why people are so frustrated with modern stories, modern comics from the big two, because they have adopted the aesthetic and the genre of the superhero, but there's no heroism.
There's no heroism. Yeah.
But don't you feel like, okay, you're wondering, how can we suck in an audience for the independents, right? How can we get them either to go a different direction with us, or here's my new hero, come along with me. But I don't know. To me, it's always going to be the visual that's going to hook them in, no matter what.
Yeah, but when you look at Lone Ranger, for example, when I was a kid, okay, I grew up in a different time. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. So, yeah, I was born in the 70s. I'm just saying, I'm an old man. I can't believe I'm an old man. Anyway, I had the toys of the Lone Ranger. I watched reruns, obviously, of the black and whites. I enjoyed Zorro tremendously. I loved Tarzan, for example, Flash Gordon. Now, but if you just kind of layered all those characters, they were all the same character almost, just in different environments. The genre was the environment, but the characters were similar. Some unique things about each one, maybe like in Indiana Jones' case, he's not really a hero. He's just he's an adventurer. I mean, that's a hero to our culture. The superhero is not necessarily one that has to have a cape necessarily, as he is just one who will stand against all odds or whatever the type of that. But that's really Flash Gordon. That's really Indiana Jones. That's really the Shadow. That's really the Phantom. So it sounds like what we're saying is almost like you can have, you can almost have, as long as the archetypes are clear. I don't want to limit it like that way either, because maybe that's not, maybe I'm being too simplistic, but as long as the archetypes stand for what they are, we can kind of still have these characters mean more to us other than just capes and spandex or sci-fi hardware and laser guns or cowboy hats and holsters, right?
But now you're just basing it on the visual. You know what I mean? Now you're just going, oh, do we need spandex to be a hero?
No, I'm saying that the hero transcends the genre is what we're ultimately all saying, is that the hero,
the genre doesn't matter,
right? Because I'm asking the question in the first place because there seems to be, from when I'm looking at the landscape of indie comics, and in particular in the group that I'm most familiar with, which tends to be Comics Gate and other groups like that are closely tied to that. There just seems like there's not a lot of superheroes. I see a lot of horror stuff coming out. And I love horror, but there's a reason why I love horror, and I can expound on that. But I'm just saying, is there room for superheroes and capes? I know Red Rooster is a good example. I see.
But don't you look at Mike's here, Mike Miller? Let's see, Mike's book. Would you call your book a superhero book?
Damn right.
Yeah, exactly. See, and I think his book is superhero book. Cyberfrog, what do you call that book? I mean, like, sci-fi. Do you call it superhero? You know, like if we're gonna go after titles that have, I guess, raised more money, they're typically superhero books.
I wouldn't say Cyberfrog is a superhero, though. Would you?
It's kind of tough.
Jawbreakers are superheroes. They're just superheroes that have become mercenaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I look at Jawbreakers a lot like G.I. Joe, and G.I. Joe were heroes to me too, for all the same reasons that I love Superman.
They were real American heroes.
Real,
they were.
Yeah,
for freedom wherever there was trouble.
That's right.
You're damn right.
There we go. There it is.
I love it. You're damn right.
Damn right.
No, this is fascinating because you know, sometimes I think I've often thought, you know, how come we don't see more of this or that? I'm also curious why we see so much horror. Well, so what do you think about horror? Well, Mike, you have a unique take because your superhero is battling horror.
Well, yeah, I use horror-ish characters more along the lines of them being supernatural than like what we think of as horror today. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the Hulk started as a horror comic.
Right. That's an important distinction. That's a very important distinction.
Yeah. I mean, most of the early Marvel stuff started as horror comics.
Well, Timely was all, before the Fantastic Four, it was all horror.
Right, and they kind of moved those characters from this horror / science fiction, which is kind of where it came from, into superheroic, because you needed that sense of fantasy and science, science fiction, essentially, to give characters superhuman powers.
It's a way to explain it, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if it's an explanation, more of an observation. It's they were trying to take what they had and move it in after Superman became all that in a bag of chips. You know, they're like, oh, superheroes. So they're like, what do we got? Well, we've got this Jekyll and Hyde type character. What's he called? The Hulk. All right, he's a superhero now. It's like,
But you know what else? I don't think that those guys were like, they were hung up on the labels. They were just creating action adventure stuff.
Right.
I don't think
they were pushing it all into a superhero universe.
Right, just a coherent world that worked as a whole.
Would you say Fantastic Fours are superheroes?
Yes.
There's a monster in there. There's horror.
Are they more science fiction?
But that's the thing. You're blurring a line there. I mean, in most cases, superheroes get their powers from some sort of a fantasy or science fiction origin.
I think superheroes, the genre would be defined by that they have superpowers and that they fight some kind of crime or injustice. So the Fantastic Four don't really fight crime or injustice. They're explorers. So I don't think, they're explorers. I mean, sometimes they'll help out the superheroes, but primarily as a concept, they're just adventurers.
Right. And they have a little bit of horror, right? So the Thing represents horror.
Right, just to hedge their bets, they created the Justice League the Justice League was selling well, so they wanted a Justice League type book. But since Timely was already kind of horror based, to hedge their bets, they put a monster in there.
Yeah, like the Human Torch and the Invaders was clearly horrific to me. Guys set on fire. I mean, it's hard to look at it through that filter now because we have so much context now. But back then, he was frightening. If you look at Spider-Man, when I first saw him when I was a kid, I thought he was. Depending on the artist, like Ditko, I thought he drew him very sinisterly. Is that a word? Like he was kind of dark to me.
Scary.
Ramita made him look more heroic. I don't know what the difference was exactly. Maybe he was just more bubbly or round or something. But Ditko's kind of weird, quirky, almost creepy. But his villains were definitely horror. The Lizard, Mysterio,
Craven,
yeah. Even Sandman is almost like a 1950s, 1960s horror movie. The man from the beach or whatever. The living sand or something like that. So it's really. And also they also use a lot of sex appeal. If you look at the Fantastic Four, it has Sue Richards. She clearly, or Sue Storm, she clearly is the blonde bombshell of that group.
Do you remember when they tried to make her sexy in the 90s and they gave her like barely any? They gave her like a tissue for a uniform.
Yeah.
Every time I look back at those old issues, it's cringeworthy almost.
Yeah.
Was that when she became Invisible Woman?
Yeah. And they had her dressed almost like Vampirilla almost. It was crazy. She was like in a thong with a fork. I was like, okay. I was like,
So the Human Torch, what did he represent in a way? Kind of same kind of science fiction horror mix. It's interesting. Then you look at the Hulk. Yeah, he was definitely a horror. He was Frankenstein meets Jekyll Hyde.
He was exactly Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, and then you had what are some of the other early Marvel characters?
Human Torch.
Who?
Human Torch.
Yeah, but I'm saying besides the Fantastic Four, you had.
I'm talking about the pre-Fantastic Four Human Torch.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. The Invaders Human Torch was clearly he was scary to me because he was on fire. And I remember when I was a kid, I was like, whoa. And Submariner, what about Submariner? How would you classify him? Fantasy?
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I guess in the end, because I was just thinking today, I was looking at some of my ideas and I was thinking, man, I would love to see. I watched an anime called MFKZ, which obviously stands for something else. But it had there was a kid who was just a weird black shape. He was like a black round head, looked like he was made of ink, and he lived in the same world as this weird cat talking animal character. And then there were these luchadors, and I was thinking about the early Avengers. If you really kind of categorize them, they were just kind of like a hodgepodge, like a mix of all sorts of stuff, right? And so you could have a horror character, like say in Defenders, you had Silver Surfer, you had Doctor Strange, you had Ghost Rider. These very odds and ends characters coming together to fight a common foe. Maybe that's what we're really saying, is that there is no such thing as superhero necessarily. I think Clint said it best. It's a subgenre of really just a soup of all those things. Am I crazy?
Yes.
I don't know, but I'm $45 away from 150,000.
There we go. Breaking news. Who has $45 on them?
Clint, is your book still in demand?
Yeah, it's still in demand.
I'm going to go ahead and include your your book in my description below.
Oh, thanks.
And
I got 92 watchers. I've never had this many watchers in my life. You guys are beautiful.
Well, it's because I showed up.
It is.
Boom.
It was before you showed up too.
Man, I don't know. Like I said, what you're looking for, the answer you're looking for is superheroes. That's the answer you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm not really looking for an answer necessarily. I'm just.
Like I know, but we started with, can you do anything outside of the superhero genre that'll attract people? That'll always be the number one genre people go towards. You know, like I said, to me, it's a visual medium. It really is. It depends how you deliver your package visually to people, if they're gonna go for it or not.
People want to see a nice package.
Yeah, if you have a nice package, it's always gonna attract.
Always.
But seriously, you can explain your story to someone, but if it doesn't look visually appealing, there's a good chance they're gonna turn off. You know what you're dishing them. You know, it's like what is Cridious? What is your book? It's called
Detective Dead.
What is it?
Detective Dead.
Yeah, Detective Dead. I've seen the pages for that. It looked great. You know, so if you explained it to me, I definitely would want to see it because, you know, that's going to appeal to me more on how it looks.
So you're saying that the customer that we're catering to is probably more interested in the package than they are in the actual.
Oh, they're like DOOMKICKER. I mean, I know a lot about DOOMKICKER, but visually, if people see what you put out there, they're more appealed to that. Like, it looks interesting, you know, the shot of him in the car and he's being attacked and jumping in the air with his hammer. Like, why is this fat dude? What's going on? How is he the hero? I want to know more about this because of the visual, you know.
Right.
And that's how I look at it. I think
like the questions that brings up in the customer's mind.
Well, it's like Mike's book. I bought the book from Mike at WonderCon, and I had no idea damn thing had vampires in it. And I was right. I had no clue, and I was like, "This is, Of course, I know about the book, so I got it from him there." And I was like, "This is cool." And then I'm reading. I'm like, "What the? A vampire showed up?" And that's just it. He hooked me with the visuals, and then I read the book, and I'm like, "Oh, this is cool." That's unexpected, but the visuals, what got as a consumer, that's what's gonna get the person. I always feel like that's gonna get the person more than anything.
Well, especially with comic books, yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not writing novels.
Yeah. Plus, I never talk about what actually happens in my book.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. But and then that's I don't know. Like I said, if you
tell me about your book, no.
Yeah, exactly. Anything about your book, buy it. Oh, okay. But if I look at it, it's gonna be the visuals, man. I mean, explain DOOMKICKER, to someone without showing them anything.
Visuals,
and they're gonna be like, "Oh, can we check it out?"
Yeah.
That kind of makes me think if a lot of these superheroes started as horror, or when you first saw them, it was kind of shocking or like outlandish, how they looked.
Yeah.
Maybe that's part of the reason why today we're just so used to seeing those kinds of things. And then you see the same kinds of aesthetics showing up, perhaps, that it's, you've seen it before. So it'd almost be like you'd want to say, like, what today is kind of outlandish and shocking, and it might look a little different than what worked in the 30s,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the answer to that. I'm just thinking.
No, I mean, well, a good example is Marvel. Marvel seems to hire the same artists these days. Oh, if it works for our other 3 titles, get guys that draw all alike those guys. And they just put the same looking art in the majority of their books. I mean, you think it's the same artist drawing the books, but it's somebody different. But they know people like that style, so let's just get more of that style in our books.
Yeah, they got a house style, how to draw the Marvel way.
Oh yeah, art's right. And now it's a specific style that is geared towards my Pepe Larraz, like that style is what they're looking for. You can draw like that guy, you get a job here.
Do you think that's really the style? I feel like most of the product they're producing has that kind of young readers, all ages feel to it.
Yeah, the art's not been very good over the last few years.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think currently that's the style they're going. I mean, I still pick up books on Wednesdays, and I'll notice their books all look like the same 5 artists draw all their books. You know, their main titles though, their little offshoot shit titles, no one gives a shit about. Anybody can draw those.
Tumblr
You know?
artists,
Yeah. Fill in artists that they go, hey, can you draw this in 2 weeks? Sure, I want a job. Okay, cool. You know, but that's
I'm
just,
gonna bounce, Elliot. I wanna be streaming on my channel when I hit 150.
Okay.
Ooh.
You know what? Tell you what. We've been on for a while. I want to kind of, if you guys, I appreciate you guys so much for talking and sharing with me on my jailbreak party. I appreciate it so much. I would love. I've included all of your campaigns in my description below. I would love it if you guys would share a little bit about your campaigns and what you got going on. If it's still in demand, if it's not in demand, then tell people about it anyway, so that people will know what to pick up next time. Art, how about you? You want to start off?
Sure. I have Black and White still in the in-demand shop, and it's only going to be there till the end of this month. And so at the end of the month, we are closing it out. So Black and White is a 52-page, it's 54-page actually, action venture, sci-fi, spy genre story.
Okay.
And it's a fresh new take on the image book I put out 25 years ago by the same title. And so I'm remastering it. It's basically redrawn. It's not even remastered anymore. The whole thing's redone. And yeah, so we're currently at 66. I think we're hedging up on 67. So we're giving Antonio a little bit of competition here on brand. So yeah, so check it out, please. It's up right now, and it's called Black and White Remastered.
Nice. And you also have do you still have the book available, the art book?
I think I have 20 of those left. Yeah, so I have an art book, oodles of doodles and other stuff too, that is there as well in the Black and White in-demand store. Thank you, Elliot.
Right on, man. Right on. Clint, you're next on my list. So what do you got going on, brother?
Yeah, so my book Downcast is on Indiegogo in demand right now. We're at we're just over $28,000. I think we're at 28.4. And yeah, it's about blue collar teens that live in a floating city, and they happen upon the power to control gravity, and they decide to exploit that power to try and save their father from prison.
And what about do you have anything that you're like, it's in demand now, right? Or is it's already
Yeah, it's in demand. We're working through the pages, and yeah, we're
any other stretch goals attached to this project right now, or no?
Sorry, what's that?
Any new stretch goals attached to your project, or are you just letting it right out?
It's kind of just there right now. I've had several people ask about doing trading cards, so I'm considering that maybe at 30,000, which is not really that far away. So yeah, if we could get to 30,000, I would absolutely put some trading cards together.
Oh yeah. What about let's see who's next on my list. I just lost my
Antonio, I believe.
Antonio.
Is it me? Oh, okay.
Me you're looking for.
All right. Well, all right. Well, there's two Antonios here. That's why I was wondering. All right. Well, I am working on a book called Brand, and it is with myself and some unknown artist by the name of Canaan White, who is and I am very pleased that we are nearing completion now that Canaan's other obligations are wrapping up, and he's working on a page right now. I spoke to him before we went on the air, and we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. Not only about to release the first 21 pages to everyone, whether you backed it or not, and then we're going to finish the book up and go into Brand Way of the Gun, which will be the sequel to this book. So that's what we're doing.
All right. Eric Weathers.
Yo,
my brother. What's up?
Man, what's going on?
Also the letterer on Doom Kicker, Earthworm Jim, and Gunship Thunderpunch. What do you got, brother?
And Downcast.
And Downcast. Whoa.
Oh.
And 100 other titles.
Excuse me. I am in the middle of my campaign. 12 days left of Flying Fortress Remastered. It is not Flying Fortress Redrawn, but Flying Fortress Remastered. It is a story about a B-17 crew. They go on a top secret mission to bomb Hitler at his secret base. And on their return trip, they are swiftly shot down by an experimental fighter and crash land in the Middle Ages. It is over 200 pages. It's pretty much already ready to go. I'm just going to do a few fixes to some of the pages and re-letter the thing, and it'll be out the door and in your hands very soon. And we are at 12,419. I feel like a small fish in a big pond here, but we're chugging along.
Well, I owe you some time together. Now that I got my channel going, we got to do some streaming together and also do some Instagram stuff together.
Elliot?
Yeah, and you've got that piece of art that we talked about too.
Yes.
Elliot, you got a super chat. I don't know if you know that or not.
I do not know that. Let me see. Let me scroll. Oh, Arthur Brown, Uncanny Kodiak for $5 because I must buy you a cyber beer. Woo! I like me some cyber beers.
As long as it's not cyber vodka, I think you're okay.
Yeah, I'm done with vodka right now. Oh man, yeah, I love it. I love it so much. Cridious, what you got, brother?
Yeah. I got Detective Dead on Indiegogo. I'll read you the overview, just short. It goes, Detective Joel Scorn, murdered in 1932, is brought back to life in modern times.
Wait, read it in a voice. Read like Detective Joel Scorn.
I can't even do that. I don't got that type of voice. I got like the high-pitched Puerto Rican voice.
Hold on, let me see. Can I read it? Go
ahead.
Detective Joel Scorn, murdered in 1932, is brought back to life in modern times, but he didn't come back alone. Hunted by the criminals who murdered his family, he must master his new abilities in order to save the only family he has left. Come join Detective Dead on this action-packed 132-plus page colored graphic novel. How's that?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah. I just bought a copy of my own book.
Very
nice.
Doomkicker. Hey, Lafayette, what do you got going on?
Nothing. Thanks for asking, though.
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah.
Well, I wanted to also bring up my boys. I got Gunship Thunderpunch by Brian Shearer over on Indiegogo. It's currently, let me see if it's improved at all. It's currently at, well, now I'm going to wait for my thing to refresh. 25,645, I think, maybe more.
Hey, Ethan's here. Oh, wow.
Ethan.
Hi, boys.
What's up?
How are you tonight?
The show.
Well.
The sneaky sneak.
Yeah, well, I just finished my live stream and I was looking to see because I thought this is like Mike S. Miller's last day, so I was like, is he streaming somewhere? And
yeah,
like,
we're actually wrapping up, so we can go head over there. Oh, I'm heading over there so I can help him out too. This is my jailbreak party, brother.
What's jailbreak?
I'm out of YouTube jail. My 90 days are over.
3 months.
Wow, epic, dude! It must feel good.
Yeah, you missed it earlier. He went through quite a bit of vodka at the beginning of the stream.
Oh yeah, he's starting to come down now. Yeah. Slurring his words. It was beautiful.
Congratulations.
The best was the handful of chips that he was eating.
It was embarrassing, but you know what? We carried him through.
It wasn't that bad, was it?
It was getting there. I'm glad you ran out of vodka, brother.
And chips.
All right. Well, all right. So we got Gunship Thunderpunches at 25,680. Cruising along. We're looking good here over on Indiegogo. This is I can never explain the story the way he does, and I don't see a good quick summary. But anyway, great stuff with transforming. If you like Transformers and you like space science fiction and you like heroes, come and get it. Also, Earthworm Jim is also cruising along 300,000 plus. I'm not even going to try to figure out how to refresh this for him. And Ethan, how's your campaign running along? Are we wrapped up already?
No, I'm gonna keep it going for a little while. I'm at let me see here. Cyberfrog Blood Honey team up cover is at 219, 195 or 196, and Cyberfrog Vampirella is doing good too, $37,320. And today, I was asked to contribute a cover to Vampirella #1, so
right.
so I'm gonna definitely do that.
That sounds good, man. That sounds like all pistons are firing.
Mm-hmm.
And Junkyard Done for, I'm not sure what that is. Something with a Y, Alien Technology 240. YouTube gave me a free super chat. Happy Jailbreak Day, Elliot. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that so much. And then finally, Doom Kicker, a 96-page Supernatural Tale of Suspense coming at you fast from Elliot Fernandez and Doug TenNapel. We are currently at, it looks like we are at 30,700, I think, 735, 805, 30,805. Guys, I appreciate you all so much. People in the chat, my brothers and sisters, amazing. You guys are fantastic. Everybody in my panel, fantastic. I'm really grateful to all of you. Thanks for hanging in there with me while I was in jail. It was lonely sometimes, but I never felt too alone because you guys were with me. And now I got to figure out how to use OBS with that stuff. I appreciate all you kids and all you gals and gasses. We will talk very, very soon. I'm signing out. Adios. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.